a large group of police officers stormed into the 13-year-old boy's home.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention one
Dad, I haven't done anything!
The sudden turn of events scared him so much that he wet his pants. Despite his desperate pleas that he hadn't killed anyone, he was still forcibly escorted into the police car. The boy's name was Jamie, a top student in his class. He was accused of murdering his classmate Katie. Jamie was the pride of his parents. They couldn't accept this reality. Since he was a minor, Jamie chose to be accompanied by his father to accept the legal aid arranged by the police station, facing the routine physical examination ordered by the police. The old father refused, but the law left him no choice, watching his son being stared at like a stripper. The father's heart broke into pieces. The examination finally ended. The father had always been a law-abiding citizen. He couldn't believe his son would do such a thing. However, the lawyer's words struck a heavy blow to his steadfast belief.
I think the police have some pretty compelling evidence. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to ask for blood. They wouldn't have been able to make the entrance that they did.
Filled with anxiety, the father returned to the interrogation room and asked his son solemnly, but Jamie was very certain it wasn't him. His son's answer gave the father a strong boost of confidence, but unexpectedly, the embarrassment came just as quickly. According to the evidence provided by the police, Jamie had asked Katie to meet the previous night. After that, Jamie had been following Katie, and surveillance cameras captured the entire process of him committing the crime. Witnessing this, Jamie could no longer hold himself together. The father was also struck dumb by this sudden shock. He repeatedly asked Jamie why, but the only response he received was cold, monotonous sobbing. Even with the video evidence, if the murder weapon couldn't be found, Jamie would still have leverage to negotiate with the police. So the next day, the sheriff went to Jamie's school. He found Katie's friend, Jade, to gather information. But unexpectedly, Jade was very hostile towards the police and provided virtually no valuable information. This puzzled the sheriff greatly. However, just as he was leaving, Jade went crazy and started punching and kicking a boy. The boy being beaten was named Ryan, one of Jamie's close friends, but when asked questions about Jamie, he also refused to answer and turned to leave. Just as the sheriff was about to give up, his son Adam provided a clue. He told his father that there was something wrong with Jamie's social media account. Katie had repeatedly replied to Jamie's posts with emojis like bum and circle. Among current student circles, this was a way of mocking him for being unpopular with girls, a virgin destined to be alone for life. And many people echoed this in the comment section. This meant it was a case of cruel, online school bullying. This meant Jamie had a clear motive. The sheriff found Ryan again. Unexpectedly, Ryan jumped out of a window and tried to run as soon as he saw him. After a chase, the sheriff successfully apprehended him. Ryan admitted that the weapon Jamie used was his, so the sheriff arrested him as an accomplice. Although the murder weapon still hadn't been found, Jamie's leverage was clearly diminishing. After many days had passed, Jamie seemed to have adapted to this place. He could even sit and chat cheerfully with a psychologist brought in by the police. But when he learned that his accomplice Ryan could wait for his trial at home while he remained trapped here, the teenager suddenly became agitated again.
Jamie, if you do not sit... Look, I don't fucking want to sit down! You do not tell me when to sit down! You do not control what I fucking... Look at me now! What I do in my life? Get that in that fucking little head of yours! Fucking hell!
The doctor paused the conversation. She calmed her emotions and then returned to the room. As the conversation gradually deepened, Jamie slowly began to describe what had happened. That night, Jamie had asked Katie to meet so he could confess his feelings. But instead, he was humiliated by Katie. In a moment of impulse, a physical altercation broke out between them.
She was a bitch. Even you can see that. I should have killed her, but I didn't.
Just as the psychologist thought he was about to confess everything. Because the murder weapon had never been found, Jamie's case dragged on for a year without a verdict. His family had also gradually gone from initial bitterness and anxiety to becoming numb. This day was the old Father Miller's birthday, but the first birthday gift he received was a set of insulting words spray-painted on his beloved car. His wife was extremely upset. She suggested moving away, but the stubborn Miller refused. He practically begged his wife and daughter to go buy paint with him, just hoping to have a moment of happiness on his birthday. In the car, the family deliberately avoided any mention of Jamie, seeming to have forgotten the earlier unpleasantness. But in their small town, Jamie's story was already known to everyone. The stares from people made Miller feel like he had thorns in his back. This only made him hurry to leave even faster. Just then, he spotted the teenager who had vandalized his car. His anger could no longer be suppressed. He rushed over and grabbed the boy, venting his fury. The boy was so frightened he kept apologizing. All the good mood was gone. On the way back, the atmosphere in the car was extremely tense. Just then, a ringtone broke the silence. The caller was none other than Jamie. He first wished his father a happy birthday. Then he said he had decided to confess. This decision caught the family completely off guard. Although the father had seen the video, when this day actually arrived, it was still hard to accept. After returning home, he went to his son's bedroom. Finally unable to control his pent-up emotions, he collapsed on Jamie's bed and sobbed uncontrollably. This shocking case of a teenage murderer, which had spanned a year, finally came to a definitive end on this day. With Jamie's confession,